Hi everybody and welcome to Lindsay's Little Library. I'm here today to share with you the book haul that I brought back with me from going to BookCon, which I'm filming this on Saturday. It was exactly a week ago that we were there. I can't believe that I was there. It was insane and crazy and awesome and wonderful all at the same time. Really glad I went and had that experience, as well as took the time to check out New York, which is an amazing city. Just wow, it was great. So definitely made the most of our time. I'll show you kind of a little bit of what I got, not only at BookCon but also what I got on the trip to New York. So one of the first places we went to was the New York Public Library, which is so beautiful, inspiring. It's awesome. It's probably one of my favorite places that I went to when we were in New York. They had a really awesome little store in their little shop, and so I picked up a little journal. It says "There's no enjoyment like reading," and I think I'm going to use this to kind of keep track of my video ideas for my channel, so, or whatever I come up with, but it was really cute, so I picked that up. Another place that we went to was, of course, the Strand, which is a pretty amazing bookstore in New York. It's an independent bookstore. It has 18 miles of books in there, which I can totally see. It was very cool. It was 3 stories. We spent quite a bit of time in there. So I picked up 3 books. I won't go into what they're about because they're pretty popular on BookTube. So I picked up Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. She was at BookCon. I grabbed this just in case I was able to get an autograph. I wasn't, but I did want to read this series, so grab that. I picked up A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. Again, another series I have yet to read. So I picked up the first one to see if I like it. And then Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I've been wanting this book for a while. Being the Harry Potter fan that I am, I feel like I have to give this book a try and then read Carry On. So I picked those 3 books up from the Strand. Truly enjoyed it. I not only got those 3 books, I got a t-shirt and some magnets and stuff. That was a really fun place to be. We did visit a number of other bookstores where we were there. I tried to keep my book buying to a minimum because I just couldn't carry it all. Yeah, honestly. We of course found a Barnes & Noble, checked that out. We did go to the new Amazon Books store that is in the mall that's by Columbus Circle in New York. And it's probably one of the most unique bookstores I've been to. Instead of putting books on shelves like this, all of their books sit on the shelf like this. So everything, you see the cover of everything. You can use your app there to pay for your book. I believe it was pretty cool. Again, we just checked that out, and we found a couple other kind of random bookstores that we of course ventured into, but that was the only bookstore I bought things at, were at the Strand, just because I felt like I needed to. So we went to BookCon on Saturday. We got there about an hour and a half. We planned on getting there about an hour before the show floor opened, but we just kind of were up and moving, and we got an Uber, and we ended up there about an hour and a half early. Wasn't too bad of a line. I didn't think so. So we had a chance to kind of sit down. We talked to one of our neighbors in line. Her name is Rebecca. She's an Instagram account that's pretty awesome, or a Bookstagram account. I should call it the right thing. And I'll link it below. That's really cool. So, and ironically, very similar tastes in books. So it's pretty cool that we were sitting next to each other and chatted for a while. And then they opened up the show floor, which was pretty cool. As we were sitting there, I kind of looked through. They had a booklet that different publishers had in kind of what they were doing different. They had all of the people that were there for autographs there, all the different panels there. So I figured out where I pretty much wanted to head first as soon as I got into the show floor to get specific arcs, and I did get one. This is One Dark Throne by Kunder Blank. She wrote the 3 Dark Crones book that I read last year, I believe, and this is the next book in the series. I don't know if it's a series or duology or what it is, but it is about 3 princesses. They are triplets, and the queen always has triplets, and the triplets are raised together for a little bit, and then they're completely separated. They each have their own special gift, and when they turn 18, I believe 16 or 18, they then kind of have to fight each other, and only one can survive, and whoever survives is the queen until she has triplets. So very interesting. took some twists I didn't expect. I love the characters. I love the world that it's in. It's pretty cool. So this is the arc of the second book in the series. Comes out in September, I believe. So I'm really excited to read this. I cannot wait because it did leave on a pretty big cliffhanger. The next books that I got that were free, or that were ARCs, one was at, and I couldn't even tell you what table it was at. It was once I got that book that I got from the Epic Reads, right by the Epic Reads lounge in their booth, which was a really fun booth to be in. It was pretty cool. And then we just kind of started walking around. We didn't really have a total plan as far as what we wanted to do next, and we came upon this other booth, and there's this table just full of books sitting there, which we were kind of confused, because if there's a table of free books, why are people not taking them? I think it just, nobody really knew what they were, so we asked, and of course they invited us to check them out and to take whatever copies we wanted to. I tried to be very intentional about what books I took from here. I didn't want to take books that I was not interested in and potentially take that from somebody who would really have liked that book. So I only took books that I will honestly read. So first one I picked up is Nails Crossing by Chris Lackey. This is a murder mystery book, and it's kind of set in a Indian tribe, but current day, and a body pretty much shows up and they gotta figure out what happened. So it's a pretty short book. I like me some mystery suspense type books, and I thought I'd pick that up. So that looked good. And the next one I picked up, it was False Flag by John Altman. This I really picked up for my husband. He's a really big fan of Vince Flynn and David Balducci, I think that's how you say it, and there's one more that he really, really likes, and it's more of a terrorist, Secret Service, CIA type feel to it. And so this is, again, the United States is under attack. There's some Secret Service agents that come into play. Some underground things happen, and I thought he would really enjoy this and maybe get a new author off of it. So I picked up this one for him. I might read it too. Who knows? The next one I picked up, actually, I didn't pick it up. My friend Kim, who I was with, we kind of separated a little bit, and so my other friend, her name is also Lindsey, her and I stuck together, and then her mom Kim came with us as well, and she kind of went off on her own, kind of explored, started talking to people. I think she brought home 3 or 4 books, and a couple of them were just from randomly talking to the right person, and they ended up handing them her book, and I'm so excited that she was able to pick this one up. It's definitely a book that I've wanted, that I was interested in, but I didn't really honestly think I was going to get it. So she picked me up an Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. And this was kind of, they were just setting up their booth. She happened to be talking to the right person, and they grabbed this out from under the table and gave it to her. I know these books went really fast, so I'm so excited that I got this arc. It comes out in September of this year, and it is set in the world of fairies. And so we have our main character, who's Isabel, and she paints pictures of the different fairies, and it's a pretty dangerous job, and she makes the mistake of painting one of the fairies in a very somber or sorrow state. He looks mortal. Big mistake, because he then takes her as punishment to stand trial in his land, and while she's there, his land comes under attack. So it sounds like they have to rely on each other to survive, but you honestly had me at fairies. You didn't really have to go any further. I'll read it. Pretty, again, shorter book, but sounds really, really great. One of the other booths that we stopped at was Owlcrate, of course. I stood in line actually for quite a while. That one was a little unorganized. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't impressed, but I stood in line and waited. And while I was in line, I actually saw a couple of her booktubers. I saw Jessie the Reader and Katie Tastic walk by, which was pretty fun, kind of cool. I was all like fangirling it, but whatever. I did get a little annoyed because I was in line with a lot of teenagers, and I just can't sometimes, but oh well. I got up to the little to the front, and you spun a wheel, and there's a bunch of different prizes on there, and I got a free book. Daughter of the Pirate King. All I know is that she is sent on a mission to find a secret map, and so she gets captured by the enemy to get on their boat so that she can try to find the map. But it sounds like the first mate of that boat's a pretty cool guy, and she kind of strikes up a friendship with him. So sounds good to me. I like pirates, so we'll give this a whirl. It looks cute, and this came in a bag, which my daughter already stole from me, but it was an all crate bag. So that was fun. There wasn't a limit. I could have gone back in line and tried again, but I was happy with that, and I just didn't want to be in that line anymore. So then we continued to kind of wander, and one of the other booths where they were selling their books, they had $5 paperbacks and $10 hardcovers, so I kind of looked through and picked up a few of those because I spent $30 and got 4 books. I thought that was pretty good, honestly. Go to Barnes & Noble, you get 1 book for that. So the first one was The Paris Architect by Charles Balfour, because I don't have enough World War II historical fiction books. Right. This one is set in 1942 Paris, and this architect is hired by a very well-off Jewish family to build them a place to hide from the Nazis. A foolproof place to hide from the Germans so that nobody can find them. He doesn't want to do it, but he needs the money, so he does it. We'll see what happens. Sounded good to me. Let's just stick with that theme, because again, don't have enough books, so I picked on The Radium Girls. Dark Story of America's Shining Woman by Kate Moore. This is when America discovered radium and kind of went a little crazy with it, like Americans do. And they didn't quite know the effects of it, so they have these girls that were working in this factory that were, I believe they were painting clock faces with radium, and they were called the Shining Girls, and it was a very coveted job. People really wanted this job, and they literally glowed at night because of the radium, and then all of a sudden they started falling sick because, of course, we know better, that it's some nasty stuff and do stuff for you. So it's a true story. It actually happened, so I thought this would be a cool thing to read. The next one I picked up is The Cellar by Natasha Preston. This is about a girl named Summer who gets kidnapped in the woods and held in a cellar with 3 other girls. And talks about pretty much what happens. Basically, psychological thriller. Sign me up. I'll take it. And then this last one, I wasn't totally sure, but for $10, give it a whirl. It's a cool cover. I really like it. It's called Labyrinth Lost by Zoraida Cordova. This is about a girl who has magical powers, and on her death day, she does a bit of magic that's supposed to kind of kill off her magic, but it doesn't. It takes her family away instead. So talks about that. I was talking to the people at this booth, and they said this was a fantastic book. Even if I'm not totally into this maybe story itself, she said you're gonna like it no matter what. So okay, I picked it up. The other thing I grabbed, they had little samplers all over the place, so I picked up, there's a bunch of ones for my kids that I grabbed that I thought would be fun for them to have. They had 4 different YAs in this sampler, so No Good Deed, which I've heard really, really awesome things about, so I have a little sampler of that. Everland, The Forgetting, and Shadow Shaper. So if anything, I think it's like the first chapter or 2 of each of these books that you can read, and then I'm sure I'll like, and then go get the book. They have me, basically. The other thing I picked up was the Harry Potter, the Next Illustrated Edition, or it's a little sampler for The Prisoner of Azkaban, which is one of my favorite Harry Potter books, and hello, look at that. I think I'm going to start asking for these books, because they're awesome, so picked up that sampler. There's a few other kids' books that I grabbed for my kids, and pins and totes and stuff like that we picked up along the way. Overall, I wasn't overly impressed with BookCon. I had a good time. It was nice. I didn't sign up for any autographs or getting any autographs. From everything I did for my research, it sounded like that was just craziness. And honestly, when I was watching it, it wasn't that bad. I wish I would have done that, especially Colleen Hoover, because oh my gosh, I love Colleen Hoover. I don't know what to think of it. Would I go again? Maybe. If it was closer to me. I don't think I'd make a trip to New York for it again. I'm definitely interested in other book type conventions. I learned a lot there. But it was a little chaotic at times. There's lots, and maybe it was just the age thing. I don't know, because I'm a little older than the majority of people that were there, but the great things about it is I'm in a room full of people who love books as much as I do, and so I'm not afraid to strike up conversations with random people, and I did quite a bit. Learned a lot about other people and what they're reading and what they're interested in. The only line I couldn't handle was Elk Crate because I just can't handle screaming girls, but that didn't kill the whole entire thing. We were there for 2.5 hours or so, and then decided to not miss out on a really gorgeous New York day. So we went and did some more sightseeing after that, and kind of explored New York a little bit more. So it was definitely fun. I'm so glad I went. I have quite the haul that I brought home from it, so that's exciting. I can't wait to start reading some of these arcs, especially my Three Dark Crowns book that I keep forgetting the name of, The One Dark Throne. It's pretty much going to be the next one that I pick up. So I'm excited to that. I will do review books on all of the arcs that I have before they actually come out and let you guys know what I think. So thanks for stopping in today, and I hope you have a wonderful day. See you later. Bye.